Your New York Football Giants just got a double dose of good news. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. Before we get going, do two things for me. First, please like and subscribe. Does me a huge solid, and I'm going to be talking Giants football all year round. You don't want to miss out. And then number two, give me your thoughts and predictions on this week's game against the 49ers. I'm hoping maybe after watching my video, your prediction may even end up changing because I think this game has swung in favor of the Giants. I'm picking the G-Men this week. So let me know what you guys think, and maybe I'll change your mind if you're pro 49ers here. But first bit of good news, and hear me out when I call this good news, but I actually think it's going to be big for the defense, is if you haven't seen, our guy Dexter Lawrence was called out by Giants legend Carl Banks. Said he, Dexter Lawrence, nobody respects you anymore. Nobody. Which are some pretty harsh words. I don't know if he's just trying to light a fire under him or if he's just trying to get clicks. Tough to know. But I actually do think this is going to light a fire under Dexter Lawrence. And I don't even know that he needs it that much. Because, yes, the sack numbers and just like the disruption we have gotten used to seeing from Lawrence haven't quite been there. But that doesn't mean he's not playing good football. And it's still like he's getting double teamed at a 75% rate, which is absolutely preposterous. And then I think the same thing with Abdul Carter is like both of these guys are making a difference, but a lot of times they're forcing the QB over to Brian Burns or Kayvon Thibodeau or somebody else, and they're not generating a lot of like individual sacks, even though they are still having an impact. But regardless, Dexter Lawrence came out, said those are strong words, and then had some choice words that I'm not going to repeat on a family show here to say about Carl Banks, and then went on to say that he is delusional. But I always think some good old-fashioned, I feel disrespected on, I'm going to show I still have it, is a positive thing. And hopefully we see the Giants' defense especially, and especially the run defense, really show out against the Niners. And I honestly think that they're set up pretty well to do it. Let me pull up. If you look at teams, these are rushing stats. The Niners are all the way third to last in the NFL, averaging a measly 89.4 rushing yards per game, which is pretty wild considering they have Christian McCaffrey at running back. But their interior offensive line has been a weakness. And if you are weak on the interior O-line, God help you against Dexter Lawrence. So this is a team that hasn't run the football well, and I think Dexter Lawrence coming in angry, feeling a little like he's got to prove himself. He doesn't have to, but I mean, just any man or maybe woman who just gets disrespected and put on notice like that is going to want to show out and show like, I'm still the guy. So I think he's going to do that, and I think this is the perfect matchup for him to do that. And then I did promise a double dose of good news. So second bit of good news that I think is big is it sounds like Bryce Huff is officially out this week. They're already saying like he'll be back next week, but he's not going to be playing against the Giants this week. And it's massive. Like people are calling this the injury bowl. Like, I know as Giants fans, we got it bad with Neighbors and Scadaboo now in the secondary and injuries all over the place. But man, the Niners might even have the Giants beat with that because they already have Nick Bosa out for the season, and their pass rush has just fallen off a cliff since he went out. And now all of a sudden, they have to deal with Bryce Huff being out, who is like their only other competent pass rusher. So all of a sudden, like, you have a Niners team who has been pretty known for their defense in recent years, just have zero pass rush. And then not only is their pass rush really weakened, but they don't have Fred Warner either. He's out for the season. And I think the big thing with him is like, that's the guy for the last 5+ years. He's the one with the green sticker on his helmet. The coach is giving him the plays. He's getting everyone their responsibilities, making sure the defense is aligned. And you're seeing big time coverage breakdowns without his leadership. And not even, like, the dude's a playmaker too, and just an elite defender in general. But he's like a field general, and you don't have his leadership out there anymore. And like, let me pull up this Texans box score last week. The Texans, I don't know that anybody watches the Texans, but their offense has been awful this year, and specifically their passing offense. I think a lot of people are like, okay, the Niners should be able to win this one. No, they didn't even have Nico Collins last week or Christian Kirk. They're out here trotting out, the 2022 Iowa State receiving group with Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins and Xavier. They just love these Iowa State guys. But it didn't matter because without Fred Warner and without any semblance of a pass rush, C.J. Stroud went off for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns. There were all sorts of coverage breakdowns, and it's just not a good defense right now because of their injuries. And not that I ever am rooting for injuries for a team, but it's good for the Giants and good for Jackson Dart. Like, he's going through it right now. Might not have Bellinger this week, no Scadaboo, no Malik Neighbors. Like, he needs a defense who's a little banged up because his offense is banged up. But so I got C.J. Stroud's game log this year. It's been ugly. Like, didn't even complete 50% of his passes against the Seahawks. Only went, a lot of 200 and even some sub 200 yard games here. And then all of a sudden you just see he boomed against the 49ers because they're just so banged up. They couldn't get any pass, because their offensive line has struggled quite a bit too. And the Niners just couldn't get any pass rush on them. And then in addition to that, without Fred Warner, there were coverage breakdowns all over the place. Even with a bunch of rookie and backup wide receivers out there, they were running free all day long. So I really think in this game, Jackson Dart is going to feast. He's going to have one of his biggest games of the year. He's going to be protected. He's going to have open receivers. Like, we've seen him succeed even when he's not protected and his receivers are having a tough time getting open. So I think now that we actually get to watch him in like a plus matchup for this Giants offense, I think he's going to cook, as the younger folk would say. And then, like I said, defensively, I think Dexter Lawrence is going to come into this game with a fire under him, ready to prove himself. And he's going to be doing it against a very weak interior O-line for the 49ers. And when he does it, he's going to do it because he is an elite player, and he always has been. I don't want Carl Banks to get any credit for improving this team. I think what he said was disrespectful, and a lot of Giants players have said, like, he's in the locker room all the time. Like, say this to, he would never say it to Dexter Lawrence's face. I certainly wouldn't say something like the guy is just a mountain of a man, but still, be a man, keep it in house, say it to his face if you have a problem with it. When you say it on air like that, it's just to get clicks. So big game coming up for the Giants. I think it's going to be a W. Let me know what you guys think, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on your way out.